The moon landing.
Mapsco, and
It's time for Buzzkill, guys.
Welcome to another episode of Velocity Chaos!
coming to you at the speed of sound, we are on the air at the Hexapod Soundhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. My name is Nick, and I am joined by my favorite co-host, my only co-host, the only co-host I could find, Luke.
Hey, that's me over here. Thank you guys for coming. I just want to introduce you guys. We're going to take it a little easy, but we got DJ Slow Ride here.
Hey, thanks for having me out today, guys. Just taking it easy today.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And Nick, what do we got going on today?
Oh, it's exciting. We have an unbelievable story that we're going to dive through, recommended by a listener, which is going to be great. We're going to hit a middle section of Buzzkill, a tried and true favorite here at the Velocity Chaos podcast, and we're going to join Luke on some conspiracy theories. We're going to take it to outer space for that one.
It never happened!
But we'll get there soon enough. Just a reminder for our returning listeners and a note for our new friends. Here at the Velocity Chaos podcast, we explore the highest heights of human knowledge and the lowest depths of crude humor. Our mission is to tickle that pink thing between your ears, poke that frontal lobe, and sometimes just smash the laugh box. So hop in and buckle up for an infotainment ride across the airwaves.
And before we get into it, just a reminder to follow us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod and on Facebook. Also, so drop us some stars on Apple Podcasts, some love on Spotify, and toss us a sub on YouTube. You can also check us out on the Twitter at Velocity Chaos P. Thank you, as always, for your support.
All right. So we are going to start the show off as we usually do with a nice round of Make the Connection. This is a just a word matching game. Luke and I are going to get 2 words from DJ Slow Ride, and he is going to also roll 2 D6s. You got them ready?
Oh, you know I got them ready.
Oh, that's awesome. So he's going to give us the amount of turns that we have to make to connect the 2 words through word association. So let's give it a roll. So crispy.
So sweet. Ooh, we got a 4, and we have a 2, which we know is
At least
it's at
less
least,
than 7.
Yeah, it's definitely at least 6.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 6. We have 6 turns to connect what words?
I would like you to make the connection between Olympians and Gangsters.
All right. Olympians and Gangsters. I'm going to give the word Olympians to Luke, and that won't count as our first. We'll just go from there with 6. So, all right. Ready, Luke?
Ready.
Cool. Olympians.
Medals.
Gold.
Heist.
Yeah, we got 3. We got 3. Crime.
Crime. Boss.
Gangsters.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Multiple.
We're getting really good at this. We tight.
Firing on all cylinders.
I like it. That's good. I feel warmed up. You feel warmed up?
I'm cool as a cucumber.
Amazing. Thank you, DJ Slow Ride, for that one. All right, getting into our first segment, we are going to do an Unbelievable Stories. We did one of these last year about last season, Shackleton. That was just one of my favorite segments of all time. I was riveted. Hopefully, I can carry it this time around. We posted a short on YouTube where you were complaining about GPS and how it's not good enough for your standard.
Firmly believe it. No, it's useful. I want more options to be able to. I just want, give me a mile radius from where I'm at, and then leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Scale it down.
You don't need to show me 500 miles on my map on my screen. just leave it at the mile.
Well, no, that's perfect. The perfect synopsis of what we talked about in that segment. And when we posted it, one of our listeners, the Holly Balls, commented and brought to our attention the incredible story of Mapsco. So I went in and I did a look around and felt like it'd be a great segment to cover. So here we go.
Are those pamphlets that you get at the store, or is that deeper?
It's thicker.
Okay.
it's
boy.
much thicker. These are street atlases.
Okay.
Rand McNally style.
Rand McNally style. You could beat somebody to death with these. Put it that way. I'm sure it's happened somewhere in Texas. So my story is today, my unbelievable story is titled Mapsco and the Texas Map Wars.
Ooh.
All right. So there is some drama behind this. And I actually really liked just kind of how it all shaped up. It's amazing that there was actually this much detail about this, a map company. But here we go. So 1948 America, Deep South, Texas. All right, 1948. A man named Milton Boyd Keith, a florist, found that his delivery drivers, kept getting lost in the Dallas streets. Essentially, it was very different than like the East Coast cities, which were like New York blocked. If you're going north, if you're going west, you know what's going on because the numbers are changing. The street counts are going just grid blocked, right? In Texas, it was just no holds barred, right? Like, you know, it might be going left, then right, then up and down. Like you didn't know where you were. And so Milton's like, for the sake of my company, for the florist shop, like I need to be helping my drivers be better prepared. And so he starts to like write directions down, starts to log what's going on in the city of Dallas so that his drivers could just be more efficient with their time and hit their deliveries. All right. This is 1948. 1951, he's like, starts to pester the actual city of Dallas. Like, hey, you need to give me all your maps. I'm sure he went in with a pistol. Like, hey, you need to give me all your maps. That's Deep South.
He probably took him some roses. You know?
That's probably more
Maybe
accurate.
some chocolates.
He
Here you
was
guys.
Please give me all your maps. So anyway, Milton goes in. He asks all the city guys, all the city planners and all the city like architect guys, they just knew where everything was by heart. So they never felt like it was required or helpful to like publish anything that would help.
Well,
them.
duh. Of course they don't need it.
But they also didn't have flowers to deliver, so they didn't really care. So he gets all these maps from the city and starts to essentially index them with the help of Lily Kendrick, who was his shop manager who worked in the store. And remember her name because she's going to come back in a little while. She had a knack for just organization and for cartography and just understanding how maps work. And so she started to help him put all the maps essentially into an index format that he could just give to his drivers and they could just look up street addresses, streets in general, and neighborhoods.
Yeah. And for all you youngsters out there listening, I know we were on the cusp of like getting GPS and stuff on our phones, but they were paper maps. And this is well before, you know, they were widespread, you know. So this is like 1950s, like that's.
If you've heard of a phone book, it's similar to that. You had to read. It was crazy.
I love that about the phone book because that's exactly what I had to do thinking about this. This was the 50s America. Obviously, people were starting to move around with cars. Cars were, 30 years old at this point. And so America was becoming more of a country on wheels. And so traveling fast was possible. So I love that point. So essentially, he started in 1952. He published it. It was only for his drivers, though. He was not sharing it. Yeah, he was not sharing it.
Steve Jobs of maps.
Exactly. And so they weren't available to the public. Pretty soon, they tried to go to Houston with it to have like 2 maps. And apparently Houston's just different enough of a climate that the glue that they were using in the books just like disintegrated and like they just like fall apart.
That guy's
So
some Flex Seal, man.
yeah.
When was that invented?
Yeah. So they essentially it's funny they didn't publish in Houston again until like decades later. Like Milton was pissed at Houston.
Missed that market.
Yeah. It's like, you guys are really digging into my profits here. So in 1956, sales were kind of slow until the city of Dallas bought a bunch of maps for their fire and ambulance services. So that's when things started to like pick up. It was a big order. It still wasn't available to the public, but other florists, it's so funny that this is all because of flowers, but other florists essentially said, hey, we'll start buying maps from you too. Yeah. And so he turned it into a business to business company. So he wasn't actually just like straight to consumers. And then, like they were really good at the time and they really changed everything because they like actually modeled off of Roman military strategies, which was what we know today. Is like you can look up the back, you can look up a street name in like this giant appendix, and then it gives you the page number that street is on, and then when you get to the page, there's a grid with a number or a letter in each of the grids. So that's how you find. Back then, you couldn't just type it in. It goes right to it.
Battleship style.
Yeah. Battleship style.
I go to my honey's house. I got to hit the D7s.
It's like a treasure hunt every time. Like, all right, how do I get to Grandma? She lives on Wilson. Okay, Wilson's over here on B12. Okay, come over here, B12.
just Goonies. Everybody's a Goonie in Texas.
Just a copper pot.
So that was how they did it. Finally, 1956, the maps were available to the public, and this is where Milton he hired homeless people from the streets of Dallas to be the salespeople.
Oh, okay. There's like cartographers. They're stenographers. They're writing out as the cartographer's like, you know this mile and a half area better than anyone.
You walk these streets.
Yeah.
I walk these streets.
Like street ushers.
With the 6-string on my back. Play for keeps. And they're like, that guy is a great map salesman right there. So anyway, he started, it was cool because it gave people jobs, but it was also like this deal where it was just, he would just give them to the person, and if they went out and never came back, he was only out like three books, right? But if they sold them, came back with the money and did the split and wanted more books, he would give them more. So it was totally, it was like American commerce, like whatever you wanted to be in life. I didn't expect to be a map salesman, but I became the best damn map salesman in Dallas.
Oh yeah, I want to see if those people are still around. Like, how'd you get started? Well, I was just, shitting on a trash can one day, and some man came up with some map books, and he said, "You sell these and come back, we'll split the profits." And now I live in this mansion. Like,
still shitting on that garbage can, but.
Now I just use them as toilet paper because like, I have this here phone. So yeah, that's how he started putting them out there. And apparently by like the late 1950s, it became a big status symbol to have a Mapsco map. Because they were so detailed, they were so good, they were so well published, and it was hard to get one. And so actually just knowing where you were going was like, you're more informed, you're more educated, and you're wealthier. And so I can just picture people like, oh man, old Chip, he always knows where he's going in life. Good old Chip, him and his Mapsco map.
If I had a Mapsco map, I'd be successful.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to just kind of like rifle through this because this is where it gets dicey, right? This is the Dallas Map Wars. This is where we hit it right here, all right? Milton dies in 1957, and he leaves the map company to his wife. His widow hires their nephew to take over the map business. What does he do right out of the gate? Renames and rebrands everything. Oh, wow. I don't know if it was pride or what, but he just goes, I can do better than that. So he names his maps Low Cadets.
What?
Excuse you?
It's literally spelled LO-KAT-IT. That was the name of the map.
Okay, I got nothing.
Located. Located.
It's like locate.
Okay, you got me there.
Yeah,
that's like explaining your joke at the bar after no one got it.
This is like one of those examples in life where you get something that's really cool, and instead of just milking it for what it is, you're like, I'm gonna put my own spin on this and just completely botch it.
Idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So soon Milton's widow dies. I think that the nephew might have had something to do with this. He thought he was going to be the map tycoon of America. And so he's like, the only thing standing between me and 100% of the profits is my aunt. She's buried off the beaten trail in an unmarked grave. There's just like this hole in the map where it's just like nothing exists.
What about this spot right here? Go to that spot right there.
There's nothing over there.
Mary's Field. Why is it called Mary's Field? I don't know. I never knew anybody named Mary.
Wasn't your aunt named Mary?
No, her name was Mrs. Milton.
Oh, right.
So anyway, Lily Kendrick, here she comes. She had been with Milton the whole time working on the maps. She goes out and starts her own rival map company, just in the face of his nephew, of Milton's nephew. And she starts with her son Choice, which I couldn't imagine naming her son Choice.
Choice Kendrick.
Choice Kendrick.
I got some choice maps for you, bro. Yeah, dude. Super crispy.
I just feel like every time I'd see her, I was like, Lily, you have a choice. What is the choice?
She would not.
She probably hated that.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't enjoy you.
Yeah. You're not hired at the map company. So anyway, they called it Handy Map, and it was became a map war between Locatits, which just I couldn't see them winning this fight at all. And Handy Maps, apparently the nephew was kind of a lazy bum because he never really changed anything. He never updated the maps. But Lily and her son Choice, they made the right choice, and they kept updating their maps and making them better. So the Handy Map just clearly outpaced Locatits. And essentially what happened was Milton's nephew finally gave up. He threw in the towel. Lily buys from the adopted son of Milton the Mapsco brand, hires him at the new company, and she probably hired him and then said, hey, why don't you also just bring that brand over here?
Yeah.
She becomes one of the first female presidents of a company in Dallas's history. So let's mark it.
This is for the ladies, right?
This is for the ladies. This turned in, all for Lily, man. She was smart. She was a smart lady. And I think that's the theme and the moral of the story for me is like the American commerce is like, if you really can see the opportunity and then you do your due diligence and you're strategic, because this is the 1950s. This is before all the big high flying fanatics of, Wall Street and all that stuff. Like this was out in the middle of Texas, but a lady just doing great business. So her and Choice, they really get things set up. Mapsco is going out as the Handy Maps, and they take over finally they just get rid of all the business, all the competition. They buy Jiffy Maps, which was in Dallas, and they become the premier East Texas. She's the queen of the East Texas maps market.
Then they got into peanut butter. And that's just all from there, man.
And then just to rifle through it, Mapsco grows. She grows it up. She retires in 1965. Choice and his wife, they take over. The company grows even bigger. And by the 1970s, with the energy crisis that happened, I guess all the gas companies were just handing out free maps, but when they had to tighten their belt buckles and stop printing maps, that's when Mapsco took another jump. So they're growing, they're outgrowing their facility. They finally had to stop printing maps in the back of the florist shop. Finally, 20 years later.
That's crazy to believe. They started as a florist company, and then they're printing maps. I didn't realize that they were printing them in the back of the shop.
Yeah,
that's
the
crazy.
whole time printing them in the back of the shop. But it just goes to show that one innovation can lead to so much more.
Yeah.
1981 was when they finally reverted the Handy Maps back to the Mapsco brand, and from then on, it was Mapsco. So 750 adjustments were made a year to these maps. So annually, they were getting updated, which is just a ton of adjustments. By the peak of it, 18,000 pages were in these books.
Okay, that's a light read.
Yeah, that's a light read.
I just need to go to the grocery store. Holy hell.
The books were selling out frequently. They had to upscale into a bigger map shop and finally had their headquarters. And then in the late 80s, the Dallas Police Department reported that the most common stolen item from unlocked cars in Dallas were the Mapsco street atlases.
No way.
It's worth its weight in gold, probably.
Yes. And that was a lot of 18,000 pages. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
1984, Mapsco does the Louisville Streets Atlas. 1983, Mapsco does Austin Street Atlas. And then through the late 90s, Denver, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins and Ellis, Fort Collins, and then the Ellis and Johnson counties. They were all in circulation. And again, in the late 90s, El Paso, Ciudad Juarez, and Las Cruces, New Mexico, all in circulation. So they just start picking up towns in the Southwest. And then
curious onto that is that them just going hey, we can map your whole area, let's talk with your city council and do that. Or they could be like, well, we'll just make our own maps. And good luck, you don't have a flower shop to get this started. So
you don't have homeless guys selling your maps, man. So that was where they ended up in the 90s, and then the late 90s multi-million-dollar project to convert all their maps to digital, and they started putting them on CDs.
What?
Yeah, so they were essentially just putting like all these 18,000 pages onto a CD, which was funny because back then you'd have to like boot up your computer over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd have to type in what you wanted, get the address, probably write it down because you didn't have a computer in your
So
car.
you like put your Dell in your passenger seat, and you're just like, hold on, Karen, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Like, but yeah, that's what it used to. I mean, what I remember is either you print out your directions or you write them
MapQuest.
down. Yeah, MapQuest them and write them down, print them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think we might be a little more directional savvy than the newer generation. But I mean, probably the generation before us is even more so, just directional savvy. But it's like we were talking the other time. It's like if I'm going somewhere and I'm using a map, I try to in my mind get key points like okay, that's checkpoint, it's like there's the gas station with the balloons or something like that, stuff like that.
My dad's a FedEx driver. You guys know this. My whole life he's been a FedEx driver, and he just refuses to do the automated stuff. Like now they're so high tech, the little handheld thing is like, go to this address, and he's like, he literally told me one time he mapped it out and he showed that he could have hit all these stops sequentially just by memory of knowing his route and his area. And been boom, 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 take 45 minutes, an hour. And the way that the automated thing had him going, it was like a weird triangle, pentagram thing. And it wasted, it was just like,
you're summoning Satan. That's their big plan.
My dad just saved the world because he just didn't complete a FedEx pentagram route.
GPS is for the devil.
No, my dad's the same way. Like just a lot of stops all day, and he'll be looking at the GPS, like, why the hell does it want me to go to Munson Road? To go down here, and it's like, it just cut off 11 minutes of travel time.
Yeah, or just knowing the little side streets, the little cut arounds, or traffic, seeing how to get around traffic. Like if you know an alternate route around traffic.
Yeah, I bet your dad would know there's traffic. Okay, we're gonna cut down this one.
He can still rattle off names of streets by heart, and I'm just like, I know them by memory, but I could get you there, but I'd have to be in the car.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it all up, Mapsco. This is the death of Mapsco. This is Mapsco. This is the final chapter. This is when you filter through page 18,000 and you get to the brief history of Mapsco, and it's another 120 pages. It ends with this, that essentially in the 90s, it was their last big kind of year. They were still selling the physical books. They started selling the CDs. It started to get really exciting. And then they were quiet for the first 10 years of the 2000s when the internet started to take over and computers really started to make it. All of a sudden you have a map in your hand on a little device because of Steve Jobs. And essentially in 2010, they were acquired by this Kappa Media Group, which owned a bunch of other map companies. And they basically shut down all the physical production of Mapsco. All the offices were closed in 2010. And just as recent as 2022, the guy, the head guy at the Kappa Media Group, he just up and quits. He just was like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm going to take another job. And that essentially, there was nobody to take their place, and there was nobody to champion, not only just maybe what happens when an EMP hits the United States, but maybe what is one of the most significant cartography efforts of the Southwest of America. So they just stopped in 2022, just last year. It was just gone. And so all of the history, all of the Mapsco information, thankfully they donated to, I think, the University of Texas. But they
for burning material.
just all the archival stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes, it's a museum piece now. A Mapsco original print, you could probably just put it in a museum.
That's crazy.
You can't sell it. There's no rights to it. Nobody's active anymore, and it's it. That's it.
Dude, he should have held out, man. Think about it. Could you imagine a couple more years, man, when we get when the nuke hits us or whatever, and we lose all our phones? pretty he'd be sitting in his giant office space. You're like, yes. Now everyone has to turn to me for locations.
What do you have to offer?
Sitting in his Mapsco throne.
Just every brand of map.
Oh, you want one of my maps?
20 gallons of water, 30 gallons of petrol, and we'll talk from there.
You get to low cat hits, don't you? No Taco Bell for you today, I guess.
And that's the guy right now who that's going to be is it's like the janitor he's just going every day, just head down, doing his job like perfection. And like the CEO leaves, the next guy like whatever, like, and they all leave and they start just passing it down to the next guy. And the last guy is like, dude, here you go. Here's the keys. And he's just every day. Okay, he's got the keys to Mapsco now, and he's going to be the Lord of Maps.
The Lord of Maps. Oh, man, that would be so cool. Like 150 years in the future, it's just America's just like a wasteland, and it's just like roving bands of marauders. Like the first shot of the movie is just like some guy in armor. And he just pulls out the Mapsco. Just like
shredded.
Flip through it. It's like well fingered and just like this is the Bible. Gives it to his son. Protect this with your life.
Mad Mapsco.
And with that, the tale of Mad Mapsco is complete. Want to thank, shout out the Holy Balls again for that great tip off there. Man, I'm going to be thinking about this all night and all day, all night, all day. And I know tonight it's going to keep me up. It was so exciting. That last topic was so exciting that I know I'm going to sleep well tonight because I was just so amped up all day. Hell, I know I'm going to sleep like a coddled baby. When was the last time you slept like a baby? That's right, when you were a baby. But now the Sleep Like a Baby pillow system, you will be able to do just like that. Sleep Like a Baby pillow system is custom sized to your body so that you are the size of a baby in comparison to the pillow. The Slab pillow system also allows you to configure your pillow setup so that you can rest your sweet little head in any position. A few Slab system favorites are bent elbow, sturdy shoulder, and my personal favorite, busty chest. Get your Sleep Like pillow system today using the code VCSLAB for a bonus heated bottle gift. Warm some milk, tea, or even whiskey to help put you to sleep. Sleep like a baby tonight. Today! This is not an actual product, service, or idea, just in case you thought it was. It's not. If there's something out there with the same name, we are unaware and have no affiliation and offer no judgment of the actual product, service, or idea.
All right, we got here our classic Buzzkill segment that we do. It's randomly topics chosen by DJ, some sent to him from listeners. We are grateful for that. Thank you. And we are going to randomly talk about these random topics for an undisclosed amount of time, and we will be hit by a sound to signify that we are done talking. Exactly like that. Just cut you off. Done. Topic done. Move on to the next one. DJ Slow Ride, how are you feeling today and what we got going on?
Oh, I feel good. It's time for Buzzkill, guys. I'm excited. We haven't done a Buzzkill in a little minute. We're shaking off the rust. But your topic is global warming.
It's getting warm out there. Our winters are getting short. You know what I'm afraid of for global warming?
What?
Is the bugs. I'm an exterminator.
Oh, yeah.
So if at least where we're at here in Cleveland, and we're on the east end of the Midwest, they label us, and right at the bottom of the Great Lakes, like it's getting warmer that I'm afraid that the scary bugs are coming up and I'm going to have to work more. But, as long as we get those like long freezes, like it'll limit the kind of scary bugs we get.
That's a really good point. Unbridled mosquito populations.
Yeah.
We'll never be able to play baseball again because of the midges.
Yeah.
Just everything is ruined because of bugs. Now that you mention it, that's actually terrifying.
I heard one thing, actually, just flipping through stuff. So based on global warming into bugs, and that there's citronella soap that you can use. So I want to look into that a little deeper.
Okay,
but,
for like camping, you're just washing up.
Just wash up.
I like it. I like it.
Global warming. Like,
what's the scariest bug that would come out from global warming?
Murder hornets.
What if there's like the polar ice caps melt and like everyone's worried about giant lizards or giant saber-toothed tigers? Yeah. What if there's just like these like just ridiculous like dog-sized bugs.
Yeah.
That just come out. Just like, oh, DJ's not having it. But dude, that would be. I'm calling you first. I'd be like, I got my Mapsco. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, that was when we did. Do you know what's popular? Like the most killing thing, like or most dangerous.
Oh
thing?
yeah,
mosquitoes were up there.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see The Land of the Lost? There's this Will Ferrell movie, and I love this scene. It's really funny because it's just like him sitting there, like, oh man, I get really tired all of a sudden. It's just like this. They're in like a Tyrannosaurus land, and there's this like 3-foot mosquito just sucking his blood.
Your topic is talking to animals.
I always wanted to talk to animals when I was a kid. Like it was like a dream. Fox and the Hound ruined me because it was just like, why isn't this working?
Talk to me. Come on.
You're shaking the little rabbit. Why aren't you saying anything?
You just wait until I go around the corner. You go around the corner. You say something? I thought I heard something.
It's like Finding Nemo. Why are you sleeping?
I talk to the animals. You got to. I feel like you have to have conversations with your pets. And then if you're feeling so obliged, then you have a little voice for your pets too, and they talk back. Because Otto has a very expressive face, so I feel like you can read what he's thinking.
What is Gabriel Church Kitten's voice?
He's a little indifferent, just like, hey, you suck, and but thank you for food.
You suck, and I don't care.
I feel like
double whammy.
Yeah, and I feel like he calls Otto a pussy all the time. Like,
but it's okay because he's one too.
Yeah.
I agree, especially with dogs, man. It must be something built into their, a pack animal mentality of like when they communicate through the voice, and so like when you're talking to them, they cock their head a little bit. You're just like, oh.
So endearing.
Yeah. I talk to Huckleberry all the time, man.
Yeah.
And I talk to him. I mean, I think it's also part of the therapy thing. I know we're going to pets. Like, it'd be cool to talk to bears and tigers and stuff, too. But Siegfried and Roy, man, they were trying to chat with them.
Your subject is grade school teachers.
Okay. Where were you homeschooled?
Cut to you on that. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I think we have some other stuff to talk about here now. No, yeah, grade school teachers, like they were great. I don't know. I remember a lot of them. One of my grade school teachers is a friend's mom. My friend's a drummer.
Yeah.
And like they'll have shows, and like so it's going to the shows and then seeing like my third grade teacher. Like it's like this is nice. Like you don't think that when you're I guess 9 years old in third grade, like I'm gonna see this lady in 20 years.
Yeah,
like it's a different perspective on life, I suppose.
Yeah,
of people are just people, and people. It's having the idea like, oh, these teachers, they're so they're important, but like I don't say glorify them, but as a kid, it's like, oh, this person, I have to listen to them, like because they know so much. But as you grow up. Yeah, they do know. Like, yeah, they're there to guide you and stuff. But it's something that everyone's on the same playing field of life.
Your subject is Nickelodeon cartoons.
Oh, doing a nostalgia? He's like, he really wanted to force this. He's like, you got to talk about Cartoon Network last year. We're talking about Nickelodeon this year. This season, we're doing Nickelodeon only.
That's it. What were some of your Nickelodeon? Rocket Power. I'm gonna just jump out. Rocket Power was like.
What were you saying? Let me interrupt you really quick
before you even think. Rocket Power.
No, Rocket Power is great. I know DJ's gonna want to talk about this, so if you want to jump in, the Thornberrys.
Wow, Thornberrys went hard.
Yeah.
Donnie.
I'm Nigel Thornberry. I have a couple of Thornberries.
No, I mean they were great. I really liked. I mean SpongeBob's classic, obviously.
Yeah.
It was pretty dominant. So I mean that's the
SpongeBob had some bangers too, like songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sweet Victory, even though that was whatever. Doug, that was like a classic before.
Yeah, I watched Doug.
Doug was good.
Doug's like one of the OG classics.
Yeah.
I watched the Doug movie. The Doug movie. Did you ever watch the Doug movie?
Yeah. Speaking of animals, dog pork chop.
Your subject is marathons.
I know you don't do running.
I don't do running. Look, I mean, marathons, man. I like biking. Like I do a long distance biking event.
Okay.
But marathon running, I don't know what it is about it. I know it's something that I have to put on my to-do list, on my checklist. Like everybody should try, right? I get it. But it's just, man, I don't know about running.
It's hard on the joints. Like if you're going hard, like it's a little rough.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a BP shell kind of guy. Marathons, I'll stop at them every once in a while.
Yeah. Okay. You're Shoelace Express isn't really your type of scenario.
So I'll go if I have to. I don't live in a spot. I mean, sometimes I will, but it's got the wheels.
I guess like marathons. What I am attracted to about them is like that peak performance moment that a lot of people talk about, where you're almost like euphoric because of just you're pushing through, you break through the wall. Like that's something I'd like to try. And I know you get that from training for a marathon, but I don't know. I don't know.
You could probably do a biking.
Running, it's not even a pain. It's not even like a pain thing. It's more of a on a bike, I feel like you're just getting places faster. You're seeing more. Maybe that's what it is. And running, I hate treadmills. I don't know.
Running is a willpower thing. I think it's like you dig deep.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm saying you're this new fluffy generation that can't doesn't want to get your hands dirty. No.
I think bikes are a great compromise. You're putting in effort. You're using technology you're using human innovation to just accentuate the power you're putting into it.
Your subject is Nickelback.
What did they ever do to anyone? Huh? They're just a band making their art for people to either enjoy or dislike, and so many people hate them.
Are you coming out on the air as a Nickelback fan?
I'm not. I'm indifferent. Like it does. Like it's music. It's.
No, I
don't hate it.
The funny thing is, the great thing about Nickelback, and I'm happy for them, is that they went from a little shock of fame, like people are like, all right, there's a band, they got a cool sound, they got a unique sound, they're cool, to like being made fun of, to surviving long enough to now being like respected as like a important part of American media culture, right? Like, and they've embraced it enough that they can show their faces in public.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Nick Cage, right? Like Nick Cage went from being a great actor, Oscar nominated, to kind of like falling off and being kind of like humiliating roles, to now being like, put Nick Cage in anything and I'll watch it. That sort of thing. So I don't know. I give him credit for surviving the wild ride.
Yeah, they withstood the storm. And how many photographs have they shown to people? Like,
I mean, they are doing so much service for our American populace of like being like, look at this photograph.
Yeah. like they were probably the idea behind Instagram. Like, look at this photograph.
They were the florists. Nickelback crawled so Instagram could fly. They were the florist holding up pictures.
Your subject is Guy Fieri.
I was gonna tangent into that one. I was gonna say like same thing. Guy Fieri. Why do people hate on Guy Fieri? He's a guy just loving food, like feeling Flavortown. He's the mayor of Flavortown, wearing flame shirts. Like he's just living life the best way he wants to.
Don't we know? We know the guy who cut. It was Kyle, wasn't it? Who cut the Johnny Cash song "Hurt."
Yeah.
And Guy Fieri just eating food. Did you ever see this, DJ?
I believe it's Guy Fieri. Like
Guy
Fieri.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. But that's one a viral video. Yeah, he hurt Johnny Cash hurt to just pictures or
slow motion.
Yeah, slow motion.
But the thing is about Guy Fieri is like everybody's just jealous of him because that is the best job in the world. Gordon Ramsay cooks food and yells at people. Wolfgang Puck just like runs really expensive restaurants. But imagine getting paid to eat the greasiest, saltiest food in America.
Of Flavortown.
Your subject is Indiana Jones.
Again, why do people hate so much on Indiana Jones?
People are jealous of Indiana Jones because who wouldn't want the job of getting to go around and whipping people in the face? You're not going out there shooting people. You're not going out there cutting people in half with a sword. You're going out there whipping people. Who want to get paid for that?
And the hotties. Don't forget the hotties out there.
All the hotties. Indiana Jones, man. Who wouldn't want to be Indiana Jones? No.
I mean, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot.
You have to remember, a lot of bad people you have to deal with.
I always felt like the whip thing was really funny. I know it really came from Zorro inspiring it, but like at the same time, I could imagine the executives being like, what weapon? So George is over there with light swords. Guns are used a lot. Ripley is using stuff to shoot up aliens. Like, what is something that people have not put in a movie before? And they go down the list and they're like, cars as weapons, bombs, cool magic powers. Oh man, they get to the bottom. They're like, it's got to be the whip.
God, that's it. All we got left.
And they're just like, this movie's not going to make any money. And then it just like Queen's Gambit, it just completely increases whip sales in like 1984 or whenever it came out. Whip sales just like shoot through the roof and they just start a whole new industry.
It's cool because you can, I mean, having a character with a disadvantage, like, and
Sure.
him coming out on top.
Your subject is bungee jumping.
You ever bungee or jump
I've jumped.
and then
No
strapped
bungee.
it down? I'm afraid of doing that, like just cracking your head open. Like, yeah, sorry, it was a little long. We didn't. Our bad.
You know, it's that movie Midsommar by Ari Aster. Like he shows like the tribe of people who were trying to invent bungee jumping, but just forgot the bungee.
There are those. I've seen those videos where it's like. These people, they jump off, but like the ropes are just long, and they like whack their head and then fly back up.
Oh man,
And that's like part of it. Like
that's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's part of
you
bungee.
hit the end, and then you just like you scrape your head against the ground.
I'll never do it because I saw on Ripley's Believe It or Not one time or one of those shows like that where somebody jumped off, they bungee back up, they don't hit anything, they bungee back up, and just the freak accident, like the way they go up, the rope looped like mid rope, their head goes into the loop, their head, and then as they start to fall back down, the rope like cinches around their neck. And then the worst part of all this is we all know when you pull a rope, right? It's taut because it's polyester, whatever. So you're pulling it up. When you pull up a rubber band, it's like not coming up, right? Because it's just stretching, right? It's just stretching. So they're like trying to pull the person up, and the person's just choking.
Oh my god!
I was like, I've never, ever, ever bungee jumping after seeing that.
So you do believe it?
I believed it 100%. Ripley was right.
They got you.
Your subject is raves or rave girls.
Or rave girls.
You got the little glow sticks going out and like just flying around, or the finger dancing things, or the hula hoops just spinning around.
The best is when you combine the lasers and the finger things with the people with the gloves with the lasers on it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to a rave. I would know if I was at a rave.
Yeah.
And I was not at one.
No, I'm not enraved. Just it's just I've seen those videos of the rave, like people just like underneath a bridge, and they're all just doing these weird dances, and like
I guess it's part of the culture.
it's all expression. It comes back to Nickelback, like, hey, you do you, as long as you're not hurting people. You just do you. You do your dances under your bridge.
Yeah, I would never tell somebody not to do it, and I'm not even going to make fun of people. I've seen some of those things that they do with the swinging sticks, glow sticks and stuff, and it looks hard. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, coordination on that.
Yeah.
No way.
To the music, beating to the music.
Yeah.
Your subject is skateboarding.
I kick flips. I pop ollies. I rail grind 50/50s.
Dude, you gotta do all that
At once.
at one time.
Pop shove it.
Pop Shove It was my favorite. What a name. I think the thing that I would like to see is it's been a while since we've had like a Tony Hawk Underground or any of those great games from that era. And nobody's really tackled the skate game since.
So they did re-release like a remastered version like 3 years ago, I don't know what it was, but there is another game. I'm unfamiliar of the name, but I was looking into it, and it was like you have a little more control of your character and like the balance. It was a little more intricate. They tried to go. I was interested in playing it, but I never pulled the trigger. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Got it.
Your subject is stunt planes or stunt pilots.
just flying high, blue jean burning, Rocky Mountain High.
John Denver, I heard he was canceled. But they're bringing him back.
No, he's back.
They're bringing him back. Stunt pilots, the people that I actually would try, I would ride in a stunt plane. I won't bungee jump, but I'll try a stunt plane. I think that stuff would be cool. And
could you handle the G's?
I think I could handle the G's. I got a face for the G's.
Good, yeah.
So how's that?
You're looking good.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
5
That's
years
like
younger.
5 G's right there.
Yeah.
Okay. The point is that I would try it. I also think the people who do the wing walking stuff, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
I like that stuff. Do you go to air shows ever? I know you
Just-
go to air shows. You get down, DJ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Couple once when I was younger, and then once with you guys a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could handle the G's. I would spew. I know I would spew.
Yeah. Well, at least you know yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm in touch with
You're right.
myself.
Very in touch with your gut.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's cool. It's crazy though how many. I think a couple pilots a year die. Like it is still an intense occupation.
Yeah.
I've seen. I think last year there's that midair collision.
Oh, jeez.
And now with everybody with phones and stuff, people are just recording like, just like, oh, I want to show this to my grandpa. Boom, and they're like, oh my god, like they're just casually videotaping it, and then they catch it on film, and then it's all over the internet.
We're losing the art of storytelling. It's everyone's just got videos now capturing everything, and now no one can spin a yarn. Be like, hey, I'll tell you this one time we were at the air show, F-17 and a 3912 coming. They just missed by a millimeter, and my God. Like, see, I'm not a good storyteller.
I went up and talked to the pilots after, shook their hand, thanked them for the service, and just said, man, that was a close one up there. And they were like, yeah, that was a close one. And that was it. I went and had a hot dog. That was it for the day.
Yep. People don't need to be telling stories like that, I suppose. Maybe it's better we have cameras.
That's why we have unbelievable story segments on VelociCast
Yours
podcast.
is much better than that story that I made up. But you know what? I want to invite you guys to come on down to the Suite of Sweetie Sweets to try some of her sweet treats. That's right. At the Suite of Sweetie Sweets, her sweet treats are on display for all to indulge in. Put your scuba gear on and prepare to dive into Sweetie Sweets Sweet and enjoy all her sweet treats. It's the only sweet you can enjoy. Sweetie Sweet Sweet Treats. Sweetie Sweet Sweet Treats are the sweetest treats on this side of Sweet Street. So many sweets to sample. Lollipops to lick, chocolates to chow, and the Suite of Sweetie Sweet Sweet Treats has them all. When you're checking out, remember to say, I have an itch on my VC sweet tooth to the cashier for a free 6-pound bag of sweets free. This is not an actual product, service, or idea, just in case you thought it was not. If there is something out there with the same name, we're unaware and have no affiliation, no judgment as your product, service, or idea.
Sweet Street. I'm going to have to check my Mapsco for that.
Yeah, it's there. It's Z9.
You hit my cruiser.
No, so this is what I want to get into here. Conspiracy theories. These are, I want to get into the moon landing.
Oh, it's a touchy one.
This is a touchy one.
Yeah.
I'm already salty.
Buzz Aldrin's going to come punch me in the face. No, so this is conspiracy theory where we take a look at some conspiracy theories that are out there, play both sides, see how it's going. These opinions might not be our own, but I'm just going to provide, some facts here.
Okay.
So just so you guys, I believe it. There's no way that we got out there. So if we actually could just turn our attention here to the monitor. Actually, we're going to go back. I'm sorry. We're going to go back. I want to just take you some facts about the moon landing first. So it was NASA's first mission that planted people onto the moon. It was the fifth crewed Apollo mission. The astronauts aboard the spacecraft were Neil Armstrong, Edwin Buzz Aldrin Jr., and Michael Collins. Yep, Mike Collins, I think.
Mike Call.
Mike Call. Spacecraft was it was launched from Cape Kennedy, now Cape Canaveral, Florida, on July 16th.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not.
Canaveral.
Sorry, no, we're not making fun of you.
No.
I'm making fun of you.
Yeah.
Canaveral.
There you go.
Yeah, you got it.
Help me out. Take that back.
All right, take it back. Back to it.
So yeah, it was Cape Kennedy at the time.
Cape Canaveral. So we were at Cape Kennedy.
Yep. That was July 16th, 1969. Hundreds of thousands of people witnessed the launch, and hundreds of millions watched on television. So, on the morning of July 20th, Armstrong and Aldrin crawled from their command module, the Columbia, through the tunnel to their lunar module, the Eagle. So, Eagle is the little thing that they took to actually get to the moon. Toward the end of the 12th lunar orbit, Columbia and Eagle split apart. So Armstrong and Aldrin piloted the Eagle to the lunar surface, touching down in the Sea of Tranquility. Yes. At 4:17 p.m. U.S. Eastern Daylight Time, EDT, Armstrong radioed, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed."
So they named it that just so they could say that. They knew they were going to get to say that.
Had to be. Like, I want to look into it. Like, is that the origin?
But they were the first. They had to be the first ones to say it, right? That's why it's iconic. Or is there like some?
I would say probably, unless it was used in like World War II for military strategy stuff, because it's so cool. I mean, come on, like since the word eagle has been around, people have been naming themselves eagle code names. Because
say, what do you say before that? Like, like what am I gonna do? Like somebody,
the pigeon has landed.
Hey, that'd be sweet.
Your horse has arrived.
Rickshaw 12 has landed. Like, that just doesn't work.
But see, the other thing is, I feel like today's day and age, people just keep naming stuff like the quality of naming has gone down. Where now they just name things like NH1723/.B, and you're like, how is that a cool name? Because then you'd be like, NCH17/.B has just landed. Like, that doesn't sound cool.
In the Sea of Tranquility.
So now that part's cool. But like, if you were just, I would name my spaceship like, Griffin. Like,
or actually,
the Griffin has landed.
Yeah. Or Sea of Tranquility would probably be, Mapsco M12 or something. Like, that square.
Hey, yo, Houston, the Sea of Tranquility? Yeah, we up in this bitch.
and passwords, like, if you had a hideout or a secret place as a kid, password, Golden Eagle.
Golden Eagle. Oh,
Eagle's he's just prime.
Yeah.
So, let's see. So 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on July 20th, Armstrong stepped out onto the lunar soil with the words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
That's one small step for the Eagles. No, shit. I mean,
he actually did mess it up, what he planned. It was supposed to say, "That's one small step for a man." And it got cut off, or he, was just trying to get it out. And so just for man and then for mankind.
And this is where the whole thing starts falling apart.
All of it right here. All his preparation, all his lines that he was saying.
Fake.
He didn't remember his line. He didn't hit his spot.
Because why would he have to have lines if it wasn't rigged? All right,
that's right. That's right. So Aldrin joined Armstrong on the moon surface about 20 minutes later. During their moonwalk, Armstrong and Aldrin set up a device to measure the composition of the solar wind, reaching the moon. A device to receive laser beams for astronomical observatories, so they can tell the distance to like an accurate distance that the moon is, and a passive seismometer and to measure moonquakes. And
a passive seismometer?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we got earthquakes, they got moonquakes. Check out all those, and meteor impacts. So all that stuff, they took about 23 kilograms. We know that's more than 7 pounds with conversion. So it's 50 pounds of rocks and soil samples, and they took many photographs, maintained constant communication with Mission Control in Houston, Texas. After 21 hours and 38 minutes on the moon surface, the astronauts used Eagle's ascent stage to launch it back to the lunar orbit. So back up in connection with Columbia. After various maneuvers, they docked into each other back in Columbia, and they began back to Earth. Splashdown of Apollo 11 occurred in the Pacific Ocean, specifically in the Pacific Ocean, about 1,400 kilometers, more than 7 miles, about 900 miles southwest of Hawaii on July 24th. After their return, the astronauts were quarantined for 21 days from the time Eagle had left the moon to be checked for any diseases that they might have brought back. So
they had to probe them for any type of moon diseases.
Yeah, we got to check your butts. So
it's a long time to be up in space with a crew of men.
Yeah. What are those three dudes doing? Okay. All right. Now we can get to the too far. Too many. There we go. Okay. So it was impossible because
Hang on. Let me scoot.
Oh yeah, sorry. It was impossible because of the Van Allen belts. They are huge belts of radiation that surround the Earth, and it's been claimed that humans would not be able to pass through these belts without being subjected to lethal doses of radiation. These things, they say that... I got to get my cursor back over here. Apologies. Radiation sickness occurs when you've been exposed to around 200 to 1,000 rads of radiation within a few hours.
That's rad.
So that is rad. These are rads going on. And do I want to get into the debunking, or am I just going through being a complete a-hole?
A-hole.
Okay. All right. So that's reason number one.
You're not
We don't care about
birthday
fa-
party.
Yeah.
We don't care about facts.
All right. So
Not during this segment.
not during this segment. Number two. The stars. Where are the stars? Look at this. Where are the stars in the photograph?
The photograph.
Whoa.
Look at this photograph.
Now I'm gonna get
Look at
heated.
this
That's an
photograph.
argument,
That's one of the arguments.
dude. Man, half your iPhones can't even take star pictures. You're gonna complain that they couldn't do it in the '80s? Get out of here!
I'm telling you, we don't have, like there's no atmosphere like to be blocking, the stars. So this is just pure space. Why can't we see the stars?
You guys were camera nerds. You know why?
I know why.
If you've been to film school, you know why.
I'm giving you guys the conspiracy theories. Okay.
Okay.
So next up,
Luke believes all of these implicitly.
Yeah. Well, look at this flag. Oh, let's scroll up here. Look at this flag. This flag is flapping in the wind. How is it? There's supposed to be no wind on the moon. Why is it flapping? Here, look at that.
Fuming right now.
Buzz dressed it. He touched it and
I don't
tucked
want to
it.
hear it. This is a conspiracy theory.
Buzz
okay?
later would go on to be the Academy Award-winning set
dresser.
decorator for The Godfather.
All right, look at these shadows. Look at all these shadows here. Aldrin pictured
all
with
these
the lunar
shadows.
model. These shadows don't make. Some of them are going this way. Some of them are going the other way. Like this
Which
just
ones?
doesn't
What are you
make.
Which
talking
ones?
about?
Look at it. Look over
Point
here.
it out.
Look at it. How are these ones darker over here than this one? Like, why is there's a rock here, but the shadows on this side? Like, this is just crazy.
I believe you were talking out of your ass.
Yes, I am.
Look at this rock. Look at this rock. Look at this black rock that looks like it's getting reflected. Like, come on.
So
I've
next.
never been to the moon, but I'm gonna tell you what, that's not what the moon looks like. All right.
This is clearly like the beach in Santa Monica.
Oh, this one right here. How is he taking this picture? There's look here in the reflection. There's no camera here. There's no camera. How is this picture being taken? Like there has to be something off in the darkness in the studio.
Got OG selfie stick, bud.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, dude. Like you can see the.
That's what the shadow is.
Yeah. All right. You know what here? You know why this is all a hoax? This guy right here, Kubrick. This man right here, American filmmaker Stanley Kubrick, who directed Space Odyssey 2001.
Which is one of the most accurately depicted versions of space before all this happened.
Before he faked the moon landing. So
No, he got confirmed by the moon landing. That was where they were like, Kubrick was right.
It is just like this. It is.
And he was
all
like, of
cheap.
course I'm right, because I shot it.
yeah, because here's some other information. We have a man who had an interview with Kubrick. And I'm just going to read a couple of bits here. But stunning new video emerged. This was 15 years after Kubrick's death. He died in March of 1999. So this was 15 years later. Filmmaker T. Patrick Murray interviewed Kubrick 3 days before his death. This is all what he says. And he said that Kubrick was forced to sign an 88-page NDA to keep the contents of the interview secret for 15 years. So below we have a little transcript. So this is Kubrick says, I perpetrated a huge fraud on the American public, which I am now about to detail, involving the United States government and NASA, and the moon landings were faked. That the moon landings all were faked, and that I was a person who filmed it. So Murray says, okay, laughs in parentheses. What are you talking? You serious? Okay, Kubrick says, I'm serious. Dead serious.
And then he
Yes,
was
it was
dead.
fake. Then he was dead. Murray says, why are you telling
In
the world, why does the world need to know that the moon landings aren't real and you faked them? Kubrick says, I consider them to be my masterpiece. Murray replies, and you can't take credit or even talk about it. Kubrick says, well, I am now. Goes on, blah, blah, blah. Turns out, okay, we're getting back into the facts of, we're going to debunk all this stuff here. We'll start with this one. I can't live this anymore. It's killing me. It's killing killing me.
It was written by Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
We're here for you, man.
So
it was written by Road.
So Kubrick died in March of '99, and there's stuff talking about Murray talking about this, that he interviewed Murray interviewed Kubrick, he says, in May of '99. So that would be 2 months after his death.
He was sitting there at the funeral, like
Yeah.
looking over the casket. Tell me everything you know about the moon landing.
Yeah.
His ESP told him.
Let's go. So and it is Kubrick's wife, is like denies it and everything, like yeah, all this stuff. But let's go back to the beginning here. So the radiation, the amount of radiation that they would have been subjected to with the installation of this craft, it would have been 0.18 rads in the amount of time, because they were only in the Van Allen rings for a small amount of time. So it's equated to about the amount of radiation an X-ray gives you.
Oh, okay.
So that's not. I get like 5-6 a week. Like,
And that was
So where does this absurd 200 number come from?
that's just the amount of
the lethal dose.
Yeah, lethal, or you'd get.
So if you were outside the spaceship with no suit on, no spoon in your hand,
no spoon in your hand,
then you'd be
you can't scoop through the radiation.
Yeah, no, you couldn't tunnel your way out.
Yeah. So there's that. There's one. The spacecraft was insulated.
Done.
Got that one. No stars. DJ, Slow Ride, would you like to explain why there's no stars?
There's probably 16 different reasons. One, oh my God, I'm fuming. I mean, one, you have exposure of your camera. You're exposing for the light on the moon's surface. Therefore, the little light that's coming off the stars can't properly expose film or whatever heck camera they had at the time. There's no way. I mean, most of your girlfriends can't take the picture of the moon they want already, and we have everything in the palm of our hand. So
Yeah.
get off me with the camera jokes.
Nailed it.
Exactly. Yeah. So being that, in direct sunlight, that's going to be so bright on the moon, because one, the surface is very reflective, the moon rock, like the dust and lunar dust and all that's very reflective. They're wearing white suits, so they got to tone down exposure incredibly low, to get this. And then, so you're not going to see on all these small stars out. I mean, they're not small, but in
Little
comparison,
specks, yeah.
little specks, you're not going to be able to see that, because they gotta crush that exposure so low.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why there's no stars out there, people. You ever try to shoot something that's bright white?
Do you see stars at noon?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Which there we go, we're back. And then we're gonna step forward to this one. Why you can't see the camera in the helmet is because look how bright he is. He's
overexposed.
Yeah, overexposed. Like just the reflection on that. Yeah, that's taking out all the you don't see the American flag on his shoulder. You don't see all the other little doohickeys that are on Aldrin's chest. If you look, it's pure white. It's he's just blowing out all the other stuff. The camera's there.
I want to give
camera class.
I want to give Neil some credit for this photo. I mean, for actually properly exposing this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing was, I mean, in space, because at that time it was analog photo, it was mechanical. So I'm sure they were just using one of those pony cameras or something handheld, because you got these big giant gloves. It's probably modified for bigger buttons, but it wasn't a giant box camera. Yeah. It was probably the size of a bread loaf.
It was a Polaroid.
Tops. Yeah.
You're lucky it's in focus.
Hey,
right? Yeah, right.
It's just them taking selfies on the moon.
Why isn't this oxidizing? Just keep flapping it.
If you don't get that joke, you need to go back to science class.
All right, so let's take it back to the flag here real quick.
Okay.
Why is this flag waving? Well, if you look up here, we got this side of the flag that's supported by the pole, and we got this side of the flag that's also, there's a rod in here.
And people deny that to this day. It's you can see it.
It's a rod.
It's a rod.
And then from them, getting it put up and everything. Yeah, it's not
Wrinkle.
gonna. Yeah, there's wrinkles.
Float.
Yeah. So there's that one. We got the shadows right here. Like we were mentioning with the exposure, it's tough to get direct sunlight. How do you see at night? In just at any time, the moon is bouncing light That's how bright the moon is, that it can reflect the sunlight back to us so that we can see stuff when it should be pitch black.
Yeah.
So to be right there at the point, like not even mentioning inverse square law of intensity, like just how bright it would have to be there. And Mythbusters even did, like they set up in a studio like a single source of light, and you get shadows from different sides because of these reflections and stuff.
Dropping the inverse square law on us, man.
It's one of my favorites.
I was gonna say, this is the only one time where it's square. I'm like, okay, you guys want to go on the shadow argument? Fine. Like, like initially you're like, okay, I look at his bubble mask and you're like, okay, it doesn't look right. But if you're looking, you're dealing with perspective warping. If you're looking at a fully bubbled surface, it's gonna change all the angle of what you see. So it's like, even then, you can debunk this in about 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, even like film development, you can kind of like highlight and touch down things. That's what they were doing. Like I learned it was pretty crazy. They actually have these little tools that are like on the end of long sticks, and you essentially just kind of dodge and highlight stuff.
Dodge and burn.
And so they were probably able to help these photographs a little bit. Like they were going to be in Time magazine. Like you don't want low quality crap. You know, I'm sure on a reel of film, they probably shot some duds, but these are the ones that were properly exposed enough that you could work with them back then.
Up there shooting space nudes.
Right. Space nudes.
That's why they were getting checked for 3 days after.
They had to go through all the pictures. Oh, can't use that one. Destroyed.
Redacted.
So I'm gonna come here. So we're passing Cooper. We got past that one.
Okay.
It was and the other thing with the interview, quote unquote, that he had.
Yeah.
It was compared to an award that Kubrick had won like a little bit earlier, like in The Voice. Like it's pretty much seems like this guy found someone to play Kubrick to say these lines. Like it just doesn't match up with his voice and cadence and everything.
Wow. So somebody went out of their way to fake everything.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
All right. So we got moon rocks. These moon rocks, they are at this point, I think it's like 900 pounds of moon rocks have been brought back over, all the courses of people going up to the moon, and they've been distributed to many countries and tested on. And they identify these rocks as moon rocks because we can't find them here. Like, they've come from the moon. There's that one. Then we have the footprints that are made, what's all this? What is it? So all that stuff, you can still see where the footprints from the different Apollo missions landed. And there are several countries that have made, missions to the moon or around the moon, orbiting the moon, setting satellites up around there. Other countries have verified like all these different they're within, I think it was 5 years after the first moon landing, there was like 5 more from the USA that went up there.
How many other people landed on the moon?
I think it's all been drones since, right? We haven't been to the moon since, correct?
I'm not sure of, but like within those 5 years, there was like 4 more missions from the U.S. that went up. And gathered more stuff.
There's been 6. I was totally wrong about that. It's 6 missions have landed humans on the moon, beginning with Apollo 11. So,
and they were all American?
The verified time.
So, but anyway, so even these other countries, like they have gone around and verified, like, yes, there is the American flag. There are these prints, like, So it's like, what would they have to deny that, like, going around, like, why are they in on it too? Like,
the Russians are like, the Americans did not land on the moon, but the Russians did.
That's probably the only country that might.
It says here in 59, the Russians were the first spacecraft to reach lunar surface, but they didn't put humans on the moon at the time. So, and it wasn't until the Russians. I was just reading through some of this stuff. I don't have all the facts. Just, this is just a guy reading some articles.
Sure.
But so the Russians, it was like 59, and then Kennedy was like, within the decade, we're gonna put someone on the moon, and then 69 comes.
Nice.
They get the people on the moon. First ones, like there was several. I was reading there's several prior to like Apollo 10. They orbited the moon and kind of set up the foundation.
They were scoping it out.
Yeah. So it's like, those could have been the guys.
Yeah.
Hey, they're just the guinea pigs.
People are arguing, where do we land? The Plateau of Wrath or the Sea of Tranquility? I'm definitely in favor of the Sea of Tranquility.
They should have had their Mapsco maps. They would have known.
Right? Yeah. I think I got one more. All the stuff. All the tools and stuff that they left.
All the shit we leave everywhere as human
garbage.
beings.
Classic.
That's going to be the new
There's
place
a
we send the
Fritos
garbage.
bag there.
Look at that. Look at that.
Fucking Ziploc bag, dude.
Yeah, so they got that. They're like I said, the seismometers or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all those gauges, the reflective surfaces so we can measure with the lasers and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff's up there. You have the footprints and everything that, like these are confirmed things from either satellites or other countries. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. You can believe what you want to believe. You can. I'm going to put the links in the show notes. If you want to, read those articles that I'm taking from. There's other people out there. How do they? It's all lies.
Yeah, it's because they need something to support their flat Earth theory. That's what.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you making a moon landing apologist of all of us. This is great. I now feel equipped to handle any lunar conversation.
You can bunk anything.
I can
even
bunk.
debunk.
I will bunk you up so much.
There's people trying to debunk you. Just bunk them right up
I'm gonna bunk you right in the mouth,
in your ear holes.
right in your ear holes. Oh man.
Don't be a hero, mate. You look after your mates, and your mates will always look after you. Yeah, cheers.
All right, we are going down to the land down under for Aussie News segment. This is a show segment that we do every single time. My name for this story is Well Pooed. Town, man, Australians never cease to exist, never cease to amaze. Poo Wong community changes its name to promote gut health for a month. So they renamed the town for a whole day to PooRight. But I love the way they did this. All the citizens of this town, it was all inspired by one lady who was starting to take her gut health, Rosemary Knox. She was starting to take her gut health into her own hands and try to find holistic approaches to some of her health issues. And so she just started writing down all the things that she was eating, and just through that was able to kind of modify some of her eating habits by just identifying, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm eating this so much, and it's a bad habit. It's a bad thing. And so the word started to spread. They invited somebody from the actual health department of Australia to come in and educate all these townspeople. And then to just promote it, they came up with this idea of they know tongue in cheek, they've accepted kind of like Nickelback who they are in the world living in Poo Wong. It's actually a First Nations word. And what I love about Australians in general, the citizens just seem to be so considerate when they're trying to do something good. They actually checked with the First Nations to say, is this okay if we do this promotion for a day? We don't want to offend you because this is a traditional word that means something in your language, and that's the name of our town, which was part of the territory that they had once owned. So it was just cool that they checked with them, and they're like, yeah, we understand, no problem, and go for it. And so they created this kind of wellness day, the PooRight Day, which just promoted healthy eating habits, put out educational pamphlets for all the citizens in the town, and the scientists, the doctors, the health professionals were like, these people are on their way of becoming the healthiest gut citizens in the country. So it was just super cool to see. It's funny, it's tongue in cheek. Mm-hmm. They're pooing the right way. And I would love to be a pooer. I would love to be a pooer. So
that's where a lot of health just in general comes from, how good you feel, or it's just based on your gut health that people are like, I gotta work out, I gotta do this. You should probably just watch what you're eating first, kind of get regular and everything,
Really bad at that.
Yeah.
I poo wong still.
Yeah.
I poo wong too.
We can all poo right if you just take a couple lessons from the incredible citizens of Poo Wong, Australia.
Probiotics.
That's what they said. They said switch from a lot of white grain to whole wheat, and switch over to probiotic yogurt and other things that can just make the poo go out right.
Yep. little fiber in there. I mean, this just goes to show you in life that, you could be dealt a bad hand of, everyone calls you Poo Town, but, you could spin that, you can change that, and, you can make it your own. You can own it, and you can PooRight. You can change your culture around you to be better. You can take all the naysayers and flip it, and you could be quarterback when you come back after 5 times over of being nickelback. You could be the best thing that's out there. You can once just be a hobo selling maps on the side of the street to the mayor of Flavortown. There's so many things. You could be riding on your skateboard, and you don't know where you're going, and someone offers you a nice thick encyclopedia of maps that's 18 pages. So you're gonna have, 1, you're gonna know where you're going, and 2, you're gonna have a good read while you're doing it. It's just the Nigel Thornberry of the world, taking his family out to see the safari in the wilderness. That's a man that it prioritizes adventure and knowledge and family experiences of the world, rather than getting stuck and stagnant in your life and what you're okay with. Because if you're not out there in your stunt planes flying around, bungee jumping, having a good old time, no one's gonna believe you. You can put it on TV and everyone's gonna say that you're wrong, but deep down inside, you were the one that changed the world, because you were the school teachers of America and around the world that shaped the young minds of everyone. And you can talk to all those animals about it too. I think that's the first time I got looped.
Yeah, dude. You hit the loop bar, dude.
Luke got looped.
Coming in hard.
Yeah. Well, let's head into the recommendation station here real quick. All right. This is where we give you guys a book, a movie, a TV show, a music, a food, a lifestyle, anything that we recommend that's in our lives that we think you guys should either try or do or experience. And what I want to do is recommend to you guys a TV show.
Nice.
Taskmaster. I was telling Nick about this the other day, but it's a game show. It's a British television, Channel 4. If you're over there across the pond, that's what they have over there. And but you can find this on YouTube. I'll give you guys the link. Just Taskmaster page, and they put up the seasons. But it's I think they're on season 14 now. It's a game show where they take comedians or actors or just prominent people. Mostly British, but different areas, Europe and some Australia. But they have the Taskmaster, who's Greg Davies, and he's the judge of everything. And then you have Alex Horn, who's the sidekick, who runs all the tasks. And there's random tasks, like one of them is there's like a putting green that's like 20 feet circle and the pins in the middle. And it says, get this potato into the teacup or into the pin. So without stepping on the putting green.
Oh.
So
awesome.
So then they all do it, and it's either fastest to do it or like most unique way to do it, or like some things like eat all these, Skittles or something, or like it's like fastest to do it wins or something. And so then they come back to studio, they've already filmed all these, and then Greg Davies, he's the Taskmaster, and this is all for his amusement, is the premise of the show, and he judges them based on how well they did it, or if they're disqualified for doing something wrong. It's just a really fun show because you have these people taking these different approaches, and it's like, I would never do that, but it's hilarious that they're doing it. Or, oh, I never thought of doing it that way. That's really like, it's just a fun show.
Yeah.
That Michelle and I, we just love to watch it.
Good wholesome family fun.
Yeah. Oh, there's swearing involved too.
That's still wholesome.
It's wholesome though.
All right. Well, that's great. I'm going to check that out. This has been a fun show. A lot to do in it. A lot of good times had throughout. And I think it was a fun run. So thanks for hanging out with us and for being with us on the episode of the Velocity Chaos podcast. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here, DJ.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
and we will see you around the corner. This is Nick signing off.
And this is Luke signing off. Thank you guys for this long one. Ooh, we got out there. We got some long stories and some conspiracy theories out there in the world. But if there is anything that you guys want to get into us, either for a buzzkill or a fat, meaty topic, let us know either in the comments, to send us an email, VelocityCastPodcast, all that jazz. But thank you guys. And like we always say, when you're stuck on the moon, you better pull out your Mapsco. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Velocity Chaos Podcast. We upload new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Interact with us on Instagram at Velocity Chaos Pod or on Facebook and YouTube at Velocity Chaos Podcast. We are grateful for your time and hope you enjoyed it here. Please tell a friend, and thank you once again.